It's a really heartbreaking case, Carol. Saeed went there just to revisit his relatives, but accused by the Iranian government of a national security crime, trying to overthrow the government, in effect, simply by being a Christian. They say he's trying to convert Muslims in Iran to Christianity. He leaves behind his wife, Nagmeh, who I met yesterday, and children 5 and 7 years old. Really difficult for them as they go through this. They have no idea how long he's going to be stuck there. Here's how she described what they're going through to me just last night.
Psychological tortures. I know the first few months they would say, you're going to go free, pack your stuff and go. And he would get everything ready and be excited to be able to come see the kids and they would say, no, you're going to. And then the next day they would say, we're going to hang you today for your faith.
Incredible. Tough for him, tough for them as well. She talks about how much they dread spending another Christmas away from her husband, from the father of her children. He's one of 3 Americans held in Iran right now. There's another American, Amir Hekmati, who's a former Marine who went there also to visit relatives, still held. And then the case of Robert Levinson, who's been held in Iran since 2007. The Iranians don't acknowledge it, but his family believes that he is there. So does the American government. And when you speak to all these families, as I've been able to do, they really hope that this new warming of relations between the U.S. and Iran will give them new hope that their family members will be released, but they haven't seen any change yet, Carol.
I know you witnessed an American being released from prison in Iran. What was that process like?
That's right. I went there a couple of years ago. This was another Iranian American, Mr. Tagavi, and you see a certain pattern here. He went there, again, to visit relatives. He was accused of supporting terrorism, put in prison, sentenced to very long terms in prison, national security crimes, spying, trying to overthrow the government. Oftentimes, they may be sentenced for 8, 10, 15 years, even worse, sometimes sentenced to death, and then those sentences are commuted and they're released, but you never know when that's going to happen. And in the case, for instance, of a Robert Levinson, it's been 6 years in running, and the government hasn't even acknowledged that he's in the country. So you can imagine, Carol, for those families, they have no certainty, and they're worried. And of course, in the case of Saeed Abedini, he has health problems. He's been beaten in prison, his family says, and they're worried that the longer he's there, that his life may be in danger.